Hello, it's Pat from Asteroid X, and here's how you can actually even grow profit and revenue as an Amazon seller through the tariff situation. As they say, we don't want to waste a good crisis. Now, people are scrambling, they're wondering what to do. I hope to give you some clarity with a number of workarounds that you can apply to the tariff situation so that you can actually do better while everyone else is panicking. So one thing is just international expansions are going to be more important, specifically Canada. If you're selling in Amazon US right now and things are going well, or at least have been until the products coming in from China got slapped with 145% tariff, what you can do is keep your supply chain going in China, right? But send those same products instead of into Amazon FBA warehouses in the US, send them into Amazon.ca. There are a few legal and logistical things to point out, like Canada needs to have a French language on the packaging, for example, right? But we help with that sort of thing. So if you want, I'll leave a link to this entire article. It's actually quite a lengthy article about how to deal with the tariffs coming out between the U.S. and China. But if you want to, do you want to help onboarding into Canada, we can do that. Second workaround, right? Just simply do what the intended effect of the tariff regime is, and source some of the SKUs in the U.S. or at least, in North America or South America, right? Um, ThomasNet, sort of like the Alibaba for the U.S. Right, so that'll be nice, and inherently this avoids all the tariffs slapped on Chinese products as of recently. Um, Latin America also probably pretty good. If you're producing on the continent, I think as a rule of thumb, that's probably going to be more productive than sourcing from China specifically. I do think that other places in Asia will be safer, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these sorts of things. But I think that the Americas for production is probably a pretty good call at this point. Um, yeah, and then a more unorthodox but still super viable, kind of interesting business model that I've done personally. So I know that it sort of works. And again, the link is here, and I'll link to it in the description of the video. But you can actually team up with, have you ever been to like a farmer's market and people selling products that were produced locally? So like local honey, um, uh, dried food products, some cosmetics, soaps, things like this. If they're producing them locally, obviously they don't have tariffs. But the thing that I've noticed about this type of person is that they don't love digital marketing. They don't love online distribution channels, but we do. You and I, we know Amazon like the back of our hand. And so you can team up with these people and say, hey, let's do a 50-50 profit split. I will be your distributor for Amazon. And you can simply, just do what you do best, make these products. I'll distribute them digitally on Amazon. I'll have the exclusive distribution rights for, a year, and I'll pay you 50% of the proceeds, and we can sort of team up. It's a partnership. And so that model, which again I've sort of dabbled in this model over the years, like this works super well. And again, an in-depth description there on our blog here at asteroidx.com. And lastly, here is a walkthrough of different countries and where you might want to source products from. Okay, so the U.S. has slapped China with a 145% tariff. They'll do a deal maybe, but maybe the tariffs will still be like 30 or 40% on most items. That doesn't leave us a lot of room to profit anymore. So my logic is, one of two things could happen: either a trade deal is struck or a trade deal is not struck. But even if a trade deal is struck, the question is, what is the remaining tariff percentage? And it might still be high enough, like a 30 or 40%, where it's kind of cost prohibitive to source product from China. And so it becomes, imperative to source from other countries. And again, in the worst case, or the worst case under this model, say the tariffs are totally unwound, which I don't think is going to happen under the Trump administration, but say they're totally unwound and it's reset to 0%. The worst thing that could happen is you've diversified and strengthened your supply chain amongst different countries. So that's the worst thing that could happen. And the best thing is that you actually stay profitable and grow through it, right? So the U.S., obviously, no tariffs on products coming from the U.S., food, grocery, cosmetics, supplements, consumables. I think that, this has been the case here, but anything you put in your body or on your skin, US is great. And again, ThomasNet is that platform for that. Vietnam has specialties in textiles, and you'll notice and furniture. You'll notice a common thread here, which is that textiles are it's you can successfully source textiles, clothing, shoes, apparel from a few different countries in Asia. Um, and I would say Vietnam is probably the best at something that looks China-like in terms of molding and metals. Although it's not at China level at the moment. I think Vietnam and India are probably with India on their heels. Apple has recently announced they're going to move all iPhone production to India, so I think this motion will continue. All sort of iPhone production where the iPhones are being sold to the U.S. Obviously, to you know, if this plan is good enough for Apple, it's good enough for us, I would say. Right? Mexico, automotive, you know, Thailand, beauty, some kitchen, jewelry, Indonesia, similar to some of the other countries in the region. Bangladesh, fantastic apparel and textiles and this sort of thing. All right, Philippines. And here I've also just linked, you can pause this video if you want to get these exact websites, but here are some sort of Alibaba-ish or sourcing websites for each of these countries that I've mentioned. All right, so here, scroll down a bit, you can pause on it if you'd like, and a few for multi-country. Okay, and again, a link to this entire article because there's a lot more to say about this. A link to the entire thing will be in the description of this video. Thanks, and talk to you soon.